Seth Hawkins here. Welcome to the CedTalks Podcast. My guest today is a nursing student at Clemson University, track and field athlete, hard worker, and I'm looking forward to our conversation today. Right now, back on the show, here is Harleigh White. Harleigh, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, how have you been as of late? How was your holidays?
It was good. It was different this year for me. Since I started working, I work part-time as a nurse at a hospital about 20 minutes from Clemson. And this is my first holiday away from my family on Christmas. So it was kind of hard. I worked a 4-day weekend. It was like Christmas Eve, Christmas, and the 2 days after that. But I got to go home for 10 days before that, so that was nice. Got to see my friends, kept up with my family. It was good. Got to see my little nephew, but now it's back to reality.
Back to the grind. Yeah. We had a big snowstorm right here in Maryland. Did you get hit where you're at also?
No, we had a lot of rain, but that was it. But I talk to my mom every day, and she's been sending me pictures. It's crazy. But today was your first day back to school, right?
Yeah, first day back, and then we're supposed to be getting more snow tonight, so who knows if we're going to be back tomorrow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, if it was up to me, I'd rather have the rain. I don't like snow. Not a big fan of the snow. So sorry to all my snow fans out there that love snow. I can't stand it.
I like the snow, but only for like 2 days, and then it can go.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty. I like looking at it outside my window, but then once I step outside and it's ice and it's all cold, I just get so frustrated with it. But nonetheless, regardless of that, it's a new year, 2022. How are you prepared for the year? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to accomplishing coming from this year?
On the track, I would say I'm looking forward to it being my last year. It's kind of bittersweet. You know, I feel like my body is just getting old. Every day I go to practice, something's hurting. But I have a lot of goals to accomplish. You know, I definitely want to be first team All-American at the national meet, indoor and outdoor. So I'm looking forward to that. But really just having the same mindset that I had towards the end of last year. You know, it kind of took me a while to hit my stride. And now that I'm there, I'm just trying to maintain and just do even better, you know, like even from the smallest things, just like eating a little cleaner, doing a little extra, whether it's stretching or like extra abs, but just trying to stay on top of it so I can go out with a bang.
Yeah. How important is it to stretch? I feel like that's something that is also important when it comes to exercising and working out. I want to implement like yoga or maybe some type of stretching into my morning routine because I like to lift in the morning before I go to work. But how important is it to really stretch your body parts and get everything flowing and moving?
It's so important. I don't think like a lot of, especially like younger people, I don't think they really realize that it's going to benefit them in the long run. But stretching is so important. It just wakes your body up, you know. It gets you ready for whatever you're about to do. And even if it's like something small, like just a quick stretch in hamstrings and your quads, that's better than nothing because you're trying to warm those muscle groups up. But cooling down is also important. So after you use those muscles, you're going to make sure you cool them down properly so they can be ready to go for the next time too.
Right, yeah. A few weeks ago, I got hit with a Charlie horse. Never had a Charlie horse in my life, but I went on a run, and it was like a really good run, and I had cooled down and everything, and I remember getting into bed, and it hit me in my right leg, and I was like, ooh, like, I couldn't move, couldn't do nothing. So I had to lay there, you know what I mean, waiting for the pain to go away, and I got up, and it hit me in my left leg, and I was just like, oh, no, and I just fell down to the ground. My mom was like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I got a Charlie horse, and
I'm not okay.
It hurt so bad, but that taught me like I really need to, you know, focus on stretching, and I really need to, you know, stretch those body parts out and be able to do that, you know, because it not only is it the worst pain ever, but you don't want any type of injury sneaking up or catching up on you.
You don't. That's the goal, is to just stay healthy and prevent them. So by stretching and taking care of your body, you know, just make sure you're good for the next time you have to go, whether it's tomorrow or the day after that.
Right. How simple are your stretches? Do you look up anything online that helps you out, or is it just years of, you know, stretching that you just utilize?
Kind of the years of stretching. I mean, we have like in warm up, we like do our dynamic stretches and our fast drills. But like before practice, I usually go into the training room, heat up, and then I like foam roll with like the massage roller thing. Then I just hit the body parts that I know that I need for that day. And I have tendonitis in my left knee, so that's something I have to work on like all the time. So I make sure that's just with like years of experience, I guess. I just know the exercises I have to do for that. So I do those every day.
Got you. Would you see yourself being a trainer sometime down the road?
You know, it's funny. A lot of people have asked me that, and I could see myself in that area. Same with coaching. You know, I love helping people. I love teaching people new things. I could see myself doing that at some point. But honestly, I have no clue what I want to do with my life still. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I could see myself doing it. It could be an option, but I don't know. Still trying to figure out how I want to use my MBA.
No, I think that's with a lot of college students still trying to figure it out. Like with me, I'm still trying to figure it out also with what I want to do. Even though I have like a goal in mind for like my bachelor's, I do so many different things on the side also that I can kind of go into also. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless with what we can all accomplish and achieve.
Which is a great thing. That's the best part about it. It's like nothing's too far out of sight for you ever. So that's always good to have options.
Right, exactly. Talk to me about your childhood, growing up, life like for you as a kid. What was that like for you?
I had a good childhood. You know, I have met a lot of people that can't say the same, so I'm very blessed to say that I did have a great childhood. Grew up in a 2-parent home. I had a brother growing up. I had a pet cat. Her name was, and I lived right around all of my mom's family, like her immediate family. So I grew up next to my 2 cousins, and my grandma was right up the street. So it was very family oriented. I don't know. We were blessed. It was always fun. You know, my house was always the house where my friends would come over to. Mom would cook us breakfast. I was a busy kid too. I was in a lot of sports, and my parents always took me to practice. They were always at my games. They never missed anything. And I'm very blessed, but I had a great childhood. It was fun.
Nice.
And they taught me a lot. Like, school was always important. My pop-up was the, what was it called? He was the leader of the Board of Education in Calvert County. Mm-hmm. So the president, that's what it was, the president of the Board of Education for some years. So education was always key. And it was just something I liked. I always liked to learn. And it's kind of like an incentive. He would say you get like $10 an A on your report card, or like back when it was like O's and G's, $10 an O. So I always like strive to do my best, kind of for the money, but also because I like school. But it was good. It was a good childhood.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I remember in elementary school, if I ever got good grades on my report cards on my interims, my parents would take me to Toys R Us, or we had a Blockbuster in Dunkirk, and that was when I was big into video games. So whenever I did something good in school, I'd always either go to the Toys R Us or that Blockbuster. I'd pick out a game or something like that, and that would be my treat. It's weird when that stuff like hits you again and you remember, but yeah, my childhood was good also. Grew up here in Calvert my whole life and everything. Family was always close by and whatnot. So part of why I love the county also is just small and everybody is here and stuff. So I always like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. When you think of some of the greatest lessons that your family carried with you, I'm sorry, let me reword that. When you think of some of the lessons that your family taught you growing up, what are some of the lessons that you carry with you today?
I would definitely say just to kind of spread kindness wherever I go. My mom's a guidance counselor, so her job is to help people. And my dad, he's a pupil personnel worker. They both work in the school system, so his job is to also help people. And I see a lot of myself in both of them. My dad's kind of goofy. My mom's funny too, but they're really the helpers in the community, and I see myself. That's probably why I'm a nurse, because of how they treated me growing up. But I feel like my job is just to spread love wherever I go, stay positive. You know, it's so dim and dark nowadays. We need more people that just kind of shine light on each other. So I would say that's my biggest lesson that I've learned from them, is to just, stay positive, always work hard. I'm very determined, and I don't know, that's the biggest one that resonates with me. Right.
Yeah. What are some of the hobbies that you had growing up? I mean, obviously you were big into sports. That was your go-to, of course. But with the exception of sports, what are some of the other things that you used to like doing growing up that you still do now?
I read a lot when I was a kid, and I kind of fell off in like middle school just because, when you're going through those phases, if people don't read like that, you're like, yeah, I don't want to read either. But I read a lot again now. What else do I do? What else did I do? I like to help my mom cook in the kitchen. That was something that I liked. And now I bake, so that's something that I enjoy doing. I cook too, but I'd rather bake. I don't know. I used to play the clarinet.
What?
I played the clarinet for 6 years. Yeah. But I don't play anymore.
Yeah.
But that's something I did when I was little as well. I don't know. I played video games with my brother. I don't do that anymore. There's a lot of computer games though. But I don't know, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I played with like Polly Pockets, Lincoln Logs, like stuff like that. I played a lot outside. We did play a lot outside growing up. But I don't know. I can't think of anything else right now.
Yeah. It's weird. I used to like reading also when I was a kid, and like same thing with drawing and coloring also. But it's like you said, when you get older and you get into middle school and high school, that stuff kind of just goes to the back, falls to the wayside, and you just pick up other stuff. I don't know why that happens. Maybe it's just because we evolve as, we get older and stuff. Like I find it so like weird because like I'm so big into that stuff now, but like somewhere along the way, I just stopped it all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, it's still cool. I mean, to be able to find your hobbies, find your passions all over again and pick all that stuff up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never really thought about it like that. Like I haven't had somebody ask me like what I did in my childhood and what I do now, but it's kind of cool to see it come full circle.
Right, yeah. What type of thrill do you get from playing sports? Was that always there with you as a kid? Were you always invested, always interested in it? I remember when I was younger and my parents, they tried getting me in sports and I wasn't having it. I wasn't really interested in it. That spark, that passion for it wasn't there. When you were doing that growing up, was that spark always there? Did you always have an interest in being on the field?
When I was little, so I started out doing like ballet and like dance, and I don't really remember that too much. And then I did gymnastics, and then I stopped gymnastics for soccer, and I played soccer for years, like all throughout high school. I cheered a little bit in between then, but soccer was my thing. I don't know, I just like being the fastest one on the field, and scoring goals just like gave me that instant gratification, like, yeah, I'm better than these lovely little girls. But I don't know, it's just something that I enjoyed. I loved going to soccer practice. It was always just fun. And then when I started doing competitive soccer, travel soccer, it became more serious. Like, especially if you're like on a team that's like one of the best in the country. I think we were always like around top 30 in the country. So we weren't the best, but we were good. My teams were always good. I don't know, it's just like whenever I do something, I do it with everything in me, not just like I can't just like half-ass things. But it's always been something that I take pride in. So like if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do my best at it. And I take pride in playing my sports. And then my dad took me to a track practice one summer, and I absolutely hated it. Oh my God, it was like a 800-meter warm-up, and I was like crying, running the laps. And I was like, please never take me back and don't make me do that again. And then I found myself in track probably about 8 years later or so, and I'm still here. I don't love the running, but it makes me better. But I love it, especially when you're doing good after you've had like those down seasons. It just makes it even better. It makes the journey so much sweeter.
Right. I definitely like how you said when you do something, you give it your all, and you don't really, excuse my French, half-ass it. You always give it your all. I think that's such a thing that I think a lot of people should kind of exhibit with life. I feel like sometimes we go through the motions, and sometimes that's normal. But, I feel like when you really are passionate about something and you're doing something that is going to propel you to that next level, you got to give it your all, whether that's 100%, 110%, you have to give it your all. Like I said before we were talking, I'm doing a math class right now, math mini session. It's just a mini session. It's only for 3 weeks. And then after that, I'm done. But I'm not just going to, sit here and rest on my laurels and just do it, at the last minute. Like I'm going to give it my all and give it 100%. Give it my full undivided attention while juggling and balancing these other things. Same thing with the podcast. I don't want to, do little with the podcast or, rest on my laurels with it. When I'm fully invested in it and committed in my product, I want to be able to give it my all. So I think that's just the perfect mindset to have. Yeah. Shifting gears from that, you did track. you talked about that, and then you moved on. You were fully committed with soccer. What led you back to track?
Musical track too, and that was actually good. And in high school, that's when I started summer track. I actually had my best friend in middle school. Her name was Alexis Pastel. She transferred to go to a private school, and her private school coach was a summer team coach. So I started doing it, and my high school coach, she was actually like, you should try a triple jump. Your legs are long. You might as well just try it. And I became good at it, and it was fun to me, so I just stuck with it.
Yeah, it's cool how you were able to kind of go back to track, because I remember you said earlier that when you did that first meet or that practice with your dad, you hated it, but then all of a sudden now it's become your life pretty much. So it's weird how that kind of like planned out and played out.
Yeah.
With soccer,
that's what it is crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay. I was done.
Yeah. With soccer, is that something that you still do on the side? Because I know I have friends that they don't play for college, but they still like to practice and play just for fun. Do you still do it just for fun?
I don't. If I had more time, I probably would. But even so, I don't know, just the risk for injury. Like, I feel like my body's so delicate nowadays since I'm getting older. I have to come like 80, but my body feels like it. But no, I don't. But it's funny. It's like I'll see like a little ball, like a foam roll ball. Like I'll just like pick it up and start juggling or something. People are like, "Did you play soccer?" I'm like, "I actually did." But no, that's as much as it is. I still go to like soccer games and stuff. I love to watch soccer. Not as much on TV, but in person I do. And our men's team actually just won the national championship. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, you got to protect your body. I think that's smart that you protect your body and you look out for yourself, and you're not out here overworking yourself and just overstressing yourself out. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to work at a daycare, and we would play outside on the field, and they'd play soccer. And I used to be like, no, I don't want to play soccer. I want to get kicked in the leg or kicked in the shin. But like once I started involving myself with it, I was like, man, I'm kind of good at this. Like this is actually pretty fun. It is fun. I get competitive when I played it. I haven't played it in a while, but once I get in that zone, like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a fun sport.
With you being in high school, of course, this can also tie into college also, but juggling your academics on top of sports, on top of maintaining a social life also, how did you achieve that balance in high school?
Honestly, I still think the same thing applies to where I am now. I think it's just all time management. You have to make sure you get your stuff done, but you also have to make sure you have a life outside of school, practice, and for me now work as well. So I work twice a week. I'm not very social Sunday through Tuesday because if I'm not at work, I'm asleep or I'm at practice, but it's okay. But then the rest of the week I make sure maybe go to breakfast with a teammate or get dinner with someone or watch a movie, just something small, but like I make sure I stay in my little circle of my friends. I make sure we do things, and then on the meet time, so it's go time on the weekend. But it's just a cycle of repeating that, which is okay. But I don't know. It's just time management. And it's so crazy because I feel like at work it's also time management. Like if I have 6 patients, I have to make sure prioritize what patient needs their meds first, based on their condition. And just I have like a 2-hour window to give meds. So I don't know, I see a lot of like practices that I do in my everyday life. I can find them almost everywhere, whether I'm at work, if I'm at practice, or in school. Like, when do I need to get this assignment done? When do I need to study for this test? It's kind of all the same. But, time management, but also just making sure I give myself time to enjoy myself outside of everything that I have going on.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. I know that's one thing I'm trying to work on, more so with the social aspect of everything, just because I think I've made this analogy on the show before, but sometimes when I get in my own little bubble and I get so consumed with my work and then with school also, and then I have family also, and then it's like sometimes if people aren't in that bubble, I tend to not reach out, tend to not talk to anybody, and it's like, it's my biggest struggle, but it's something that I'm working on with the social aspect. Yeah. But I always prioritize my work as best as I can. It's not easy, I'd much rather be doing other things, but, right. I feel like it's so important to me that I know if I slip up or if I fall in that, then that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're working on it, I feel like that's all you can ask for. It's better than not doing anything.
Yeah. Would you say that your time management skills now are better than what it was in high school?
Maybe. I would say maybe I just sharpened them a little. I was always good at time management. Like, my grades were always good throughout high school. I ran track and played soccer. So, like, during high school track season, I was still playing club soccer. So I would go, like, from track practice to soccer practice and then home to do my homework and then wake up and go to school. But so I feel like I've always had a kind of strict lifestyle for time, I guess. Like, I always had to be on it with everything that I did. And that's how I am now. So I don't know whether it got better. I feel like I've matured a lot, and I know, like, what to prioritize a little better now. But they've always been good. But I would say they're pretty sharp now.
Right. In your opinion, would you recommend people take up sports or take up any type of extracurricular activity in high school to better prepare themselves for college or eventually after college, just based off of the routine, trying to structure themselves and create that type of structure in their lives? Is that something you would recommend to somebody?
Sure, I definitely would. Whether it's a sport or a hobby, but something that you'd have to devote your time to, it only just makes you able to, structure your life better, like you said. Like, you'll be more disciplined. You'll know, like, when you have to get this done. You'll have more of, like, deadlines for yourself. And then, I feel like people get gratification from, like, achieving things also. But I feel like time management is a skill that everybody needs to have, because once you get into the workforce, that's what they're going to look for. Are you able to manage your time well? Are you able to meet these deadlines? Are you able to turn in this project for me when I ask you to, and not ask for an extension every time I give you something to work on, And a lot of employers like to see that people are involved in, like, the community and extracurricular activities, because if they're able to manage that and their schoolwork when they're in college or their work-life balance, then that's something that a potential employer is going to look for in a recruit or an employee, is to see if they're going to be able to shine in their job, shine at their workplace without any difficulties with time or anything. So I would definitely recommend pick up a sport, pick up a hobby, do something in the community, just to start to add to your resume, just to show people you are involved and you're able to handle it all with a job or with school.
Right. My grades were always good in high school, but I never really had a type of sport that I was doing or type of activity I was doing outside of school. So a lot of it was last minute, me cramming, trying to do my best, and then just being able to do my best. And once I got to college, that's when I was kind of faced with the realization that, I got to get serious about creating a type of routine and schedule for myself, because that's going to really benefit me the most when it comes to studying, because studying is so important once you get to college. And not just studying with college, but just work in general, because you have to be on time. You have to be of service to the people that you are working with. So once I got to my freshman year of college, that's when I really started getting serious with it. And then when sophomore year came around, that's when I really started scheduling everything and just creating a type of routine for myself, because that would keep me focused. It's like now I have a simple routine of what I need to do, what I have to do with school, what I got to do with work, how I take care of myself and treat myself in between those times when I get a chance to take a break and just be able to take care of myself. But, I just feel like scheduling and having a routine is so important.
Yeah, it's working for me. But if something isn't working, you can always tweak it, which is always the good part about it.
Right, exactly. Now that I think about it, my routine was so off during Christmas break, just because I had so much free time to just be able to do what I want. So now I got to get back into the hustle and be able to get back into my routine that I had beforehand. But, it's always good to be able to take care of yourself.
Oh, yeah, and a break is always necessary. Like, yesterday, I didn't even open my laptop yet. I don't think I've opened my laptop since I shut it from last semester. But I charged it. I plan on opening it soon. But I don't know. I haven't had a need to look at it. But I'm still making sure I'm on top of everything. But you need a break. You always need a break, mentally, spiritually. And I'm sure when you were out of your schedule or whatever, I'm sure it felt good to to just go do what you wanted to do for a change. I know that was good for me.
It really did. Like those first 2 days was kind of weird because it's just like, okay, I don't have school, and then I had Christmas break off from work, so I was like, wow, I have all this time off. Like, what am I supposed to do? I was going like crazy, and the weather changes up too, and then it gets dark early now, so that didn't help either. But by the time day 3 and day 4 and day 5 came along, it was like finally, I'm finally able to get some rest and just be able to just take care of myself, play video games all night, you know what I mean, and not have to worry about getting up for work. It was so nice.
Good.
Yeah, but shifting gears from that, talk to me about your decision to choose Clemson. Why Clemson? Why did you choose that school? Why not a school right here in Maryland? What factored into your decision?
Well, I chose Clemson. I didn't even know what Clemson was really until I had a family friend that we knew that ran track at Coastal Carolina, and he transferred to Clemson, but he went to Patuxent High School. He told me about Clemson. He's like, you should reach out to my coach. And I did, and I didn't hear anything back. And then I won Junior Olympics that year. And that's when I saw, there was another coach from Clemson that was there recruiting. And she talked to me, and that's how I kind of got her information, started our recruiting process with Clemson. Came here on an official visit. It reminds me of home. Small college town, very rural area, nothing much around it. Got to go like 45 minutes to get to the mall, just like it is at home. But I don't know, just felt like home. I like the warmer weather. It's usually about the same as it is in Maryland, but we didn't get any snow. But generally, like last week, it was like 60s all week. So just a little different from home. I like the warm weather. But I don't know. I like it here a lot. Like my teammates a lot. I've been through a lot of different teams with me being a fifth year right now. But still loving it. Decided to come back from my last year of eligibility, and I'm getting my master's. So I'll be here for another year after this.
Nice. That's nice. It's nice to, find your school of choice and just know that you're at home there, and you just you feel warm, you feel welcome. Like that's how I felt when I went to Bowie and I stepped on its campus and I just traveled to the different buildings and stuff. I just felt home, I felt like this was the place. It's like when you know, and it's just such a nice feeling to just know and have it all figured out.
That's it, yeah. My parents actually went to Bowie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and pretty sure my grandparents did too, and my grandma was professor there for a couple of years. So, yeah, that's cool. You're still going to Bowie right now?
Yeah, I have one more year left.
Cool. Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Go Bulldogs. Yeah. Before we talk about your first year at college, the accomplishments that you achieved at Huntingtown with sports, with soccer, with track, impeccable. Just absolutely incredible. When you think of some of those accolades, some of those achievements, what does that mean to you?
I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like, when you're good in high school, that doesn't mean you're going to be great in college. When you're great in high school, doesn't mean you're going to be, great in college. So that was, I wouldn't say it was a reality check, but it was like, dang, you got to start from the bottom again, you're at the bottom of the totem pole again. You got to work your way up. So at first, it was kind of frustrating because, I was jumping this in high school, and I was, kind of sitting out the same marks for my first, 2 years in college. What am I doing wrong? So I just had to figure that out. But I don't know. It always humbles me to know that I was really good in high school, and it took me a while to hit my stride again in college. But I'm kind of back. I'm doing a lot better than I ever did. So I guess that's what you come to college for, is to get better. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like a hometown, I don't want to say hero or legend, but a lot of people know my name, which is kind of cool. A lot of people look up to me. And, just having that following, I just want to be a positive, influential figure on the younger kids. And my dad always asks me when I come home, can you go talk to this kid? Can you go talk to this team? Becker wants you to go talk to these kids. I'm like, sure, no problem. But I don't know. My main thing is always giving back and making sure people, at least if they don't know what they want to do in life, they have a little idea. If I can help them find an idea, give them some advice for their sport. That's always something that I enjoy. So, I don't know. I think I kind of went on a tangent right there. But getting back on my stride has been the best thing that's happened in college. It's just knowing, it's humbled me coming from being really good in high school to just kind of, average in college to like above average again now. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it's always a jump when you go from one place to another. And I went through the same thing also with school, whereas I felt like I was really good at Huntingtown, and then I got to CSM, and I was at the bottom all over again, being in college. And then I felt like I was in a good spot at CSM when I left, and then I got to Bowie State, and it's like, all right, well, a community college is different from a university, so it's like now I'm kind of at the bottom again, starting all over, trying to reestablish myself. And now I feel like I've sort of come into my own at Bowie, and I feel like really confident in what I'm doing. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because in about a year or two, I'm going to be starting my master's. So I'll be probably back at the bottom once again at Bowie, trying to establish myself in an entirely new program and everything. But I feel like, it's a good thing to be able to be at the bottom, because it allows you to grind and work your way up to the top. And it makes you more appreciative of, the work that you put in and everything and all that. Right.
No, I agree. It's definitely, I don't want to say it's a reality check, but it's good to face a little adversity sometimes, because, some people may feel like all their life they've had it easy, but you might not see what goes on behind the closed doors, how much work they put in. So it's always good to just start fresh and work your way back up.
Yeah, and it's good to be humble also, and that's something I like about you. You're not sitting here bragging like, yeah, I did this, yeah, I did that. You're humble about it, and you're proud of what you did, but you're always looking to achieve more. And those accolades and stuff, that's just names. You know what I mean? That's just trophies. It's all about the work that you put in, and I like that.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Your first year at Clemson, being away from home, how was that adjustment for you?
It was kind of hard at first, especially I didn't have my car as the first semester. So, I feel like I had to be very dependent on other people, and I did not like that. I am a very independent person. So I begged my parents to let me get my car on Thanksgiving break, and I drove back. But it actually wasn't that bad once we were in season, because my parents came to a lot of meets. So I saw my parents once or twice a month from January to about May. So that was not maybe once a month from January to about May. So that was always something to look forward to. But then when COVID hit, a little different story. They couldn't come to any meets. But then I was home for 7 months. So that was crazy. So my college career has just been a roller coaster. But aside from that, I would get homesick. I would just FaceTime. I knew it was just FaceTime call away. But now when I think about it, it's kind of sad. I miss a lot of my little cousins growing up. I went home from Christmas, and my 12-year-old cousin, she's taller than me now, and her little brother, he's big, and my nephew, he's already 5 months old, and I'm like, what's going on? But I don't know. It's hard being away from your family, but then I feel like it makes me more appreciative when I go back home to see them. So.
Right. Yeah. That was my biggest, I think, fear from leaving my home was just being homesick, because I've always been, around my family my whole life. And I think my whole reason for going to CSM was just because I wasn't ready to leave home yet. I wasn't ready to leave my family. And it all worked out, because I knew that if I had went away to Bowie, my freshman year, it would have went one of two ways. Either I would have adjusted well and been perfectly fine, or I would have came back home and gone to CSM anyway. So I wouldn't say I chose the safe route, but I just chose to do something that was best for me. And It worked out for me. I got my associates out of it, so everything worked out.
Good. And I feel like that's all that matters. It's not really about what other people think. It's about your path and your journey. So that's what was best for you, then it was best for you.
Yeah, and I think that's just for everybody in life. It's your path, it's your journey. It's not everybody else's journey. My cousin always told me, you can get advice or feedback from everybody. Those people are going to be sound asleep in bed that night while you're tossing and turning, stressing over your situation. So sometimes it's best to, follow your gut and follow your intuition with what it's telling you. Yeah, I'm going to jump forward a little bit to your nursing career right now and what you're doing right now. With the lessons of this pandemic and everything that's been going on, what have you learned since being a nurse during this pandemic?
It's crazy. So I work on a med-surg floor, which is if people go to the ER and they're waiting to have surgery, they'll come to my floor. If they're really sick and they don't know what's going on with them yet, they come to my floor for maintenance. But right now my floor is an entire COVID unit. So we have 27 COVID patients. It's usually, if we're fully staffed, we'll have like 4 to 5 patients apiece, and if not, it's usually 6 or 7, sometimes 8, which can be kind of scary because it's not really that safe. But it is what it is, we gotta take care of people. But I don't know, it's just people need to just listen, and I'm not saying like listen to the government, but you just gotta take care of yourself in whatever way it may be. Like, you gotta take the proper precautions. You need to wear your mask. You need to wash your hands. And if you don't have the vaccine, I'm not going to push you to get it, but you just got to take care of yourself, because obviously we see all these other new variants, which is just crazy to me. Like, it literally makes no sense. But I don't know. You just got to. Life is too short, and I see a lot of young people on my floor, like 38 years old, like on a machine that breathes for them. Like, you're 38. Your life shouldn't be like that, And it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird time, but you just can't take life for granted, Tell those people that you don't see often. Tell them you love them. Like, I had an aunt, my dad's aunt, she passed away last week. Just not really unexpectedly, but it was unexpectedly to us because we didn't know that she was sick. But I don't know, it's just crazy because I can't even picture her being sick. Like, the last picture I have of her was from my graduation party this past summer, and she looked beautiful. And it's just like, what happened on Betty just 5 months ago? Like, it's crazy, but you just can't take life for granted. I don't know. It's what I'm saying. You can't just be upset about things that don't matter, but you got to control what you can. Don't worry about the things that you can't, but also you just got to look out for yourself and look out for the people you love. Right.
Yeah. The pandemic has definitely taught me to really, take care of my health and really empower myself, not just my physical health, but my mental health also. There's just a lot going on in this world. And I feel like if there's anything that's troubling you, that's on your mind, you got to seek help, whether that's with family, whether that's with friends, seeking a professional and talking with them one-on-one. It's just so important to take care of your mental health and your physical health also, exercising, trying to establish a routine where you're in the gym, or maybe you're walking in the morning or in the afternoon or evening time. Like, your health is your wealth. You just really have to prioritize that. And that's what this pandemic has really taught me. Because if you don't, then, you'll suffer those consequences of being in the hospital or, passing away at an early age. It's just sad, especially those people who don't have their vaccines. That's a conversation for another time with the vaccine.
I know.
But, it's just really unfortunate.
It is. And, you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. And I see that a lot now that I'm older and work in hospitals. Just like, I don't know, you can't tell anybody anything, really. You can't make them do anything, but you can always suggest things. Like, I ask my patients, like, have you had your COVID vaccine? They're like, no. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, do you see where you are right now? Like, if you had it, like, maybe you wouldn't need oxygen right now. But hey, I'm just a nurse. I don't know anything. I just work there.
Right. To each their own.
Yeah.
Right. The U.S. Olympic team trials. What led you to doing that?
Honestly, I didn't even know that I qualified until my coach was like, you know what? You might have qualified for Olympic trials. I was like, oh, okay. And like, still, like when I was there, just seeing all the professional people that you like look up to and you like watch them on TV, it was just like so, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it was so awesome, but at the same time, I didn't put into perspective that like I was competing at Olympic trials. Kind of felt like I was just there, like I was really competing there. And, like, even so, like, it was, like, not until a couple of months later, I was like, wow, I actually am one of the best triple jumpers in the country. Like, it's kind of crazy. But, like, I didn't really hit me until way after the meet that I was, like, at the Olympic trials. But it was a great experience. It was so much fun, like, just, like, seeing those people compete. And even, like, I came in, like, 14th place. So that's not, like, something like, oh, my God, yeah, I gave you 14th place. Like, you don't really get excited about 14th place. But 14th place, that was, like, a lot of great people is a pretty good accomplishment. So, and it was at the end of the season, like my body was beat down. All those professional people weren't competing like I was. So that's also something to consider. But it was so fun. It was such a great experience.
Yeah, when I was
I
playing,
don't know if I'll be competing still to go to the next one, but definitely something that I can tell my kids about one day.
yeah, when I was planning on having you on the show, I was telling one of my friends, like, yo, if she says yes, I'm going to have an Olympic athlete on the show. I don't care if she didn't win the medal. I don't care. I'm going to have a whole Olympic athlete on this podcast. And I just think that's such an incredible experience to have. The fact that you were able to be one of the best in the country to compete in the Olympics and be able to have that experience, I just think that's incredible.
Thank you.
Did you get any type of like medal from that or like trophy from it?
No. Oh, well, I got like this little keepsake thing that says like U.S. Team Olympic Trials. It's like a little, I don't even know where it is. I think my parents have it. It's like a little glass. It is at my house. It's like a glass, like kind of like 3D cube, and it says like U.S. Olympic Trials, and it has like a piece of it's called Hayward Field, which is like a very historic track venue, and it's like a piece of the wood venue that they put the little cube on. So it's pretty cool. And I got a shirt that says Olympic Team Trials, so that's about it.
That's what's up. Well, I mean, at least you had that experience that will stick with you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. One topic I did want to touch on was being able to be present, you know, in the moment and just enjoying everything in the now. I feel like that's something that I've been trying to do, like with my life, just trying to just enjoy everything and enjoy what I'm doing now, because I'm always so fixated on what's coming next that I sort of miss the blessings that I have, you know, right now by not really taking them into account. For example, last year I was able to publish a book, and that was such a really cool accomplishment that I did. But I didn't really enjoy, you know, the hype of it. I didn't enjoy the process, the feel-good moment of it. You know, I was more fixated on, you know, what's coming next after this, or just, you know, not drawing attention to this really cool moment. And, you know, I really missed out on this really cool experience. And, you know, now I'm more focused on trying to enjoy everything, you know, being in the present, just enjoying what I have right now. In your opinion, how important is that?
I feel like it is important because it kind of just, like you said, just keeps you present, keeps you where your feet are. And that's something that I try to do on the daily with, you know, the rush, the hustle and bustle. You know, there's always something that you have to do. But just taking a step back and, like, reminding yourself that, like, you're blessed to be where you are. Like, sometimes I'll complain about, like, going to practice. I'm like, I have to remind myself there's so many people that would want to be in my shoes right now, to be able to say they're a D1 athlete, to go to practice, to have a job, you know. And that's something that I want to do less of this year is complain. I don't complain a lot, but when I do complain, I just bash myself for it. And I'm like, no, you don't need to complain about this because there's someone that would love to be living your life right now. But really just being where your feet are, just appreciating life for what it is. And I always tell people I just take it day by day because tomorrow's not promised. So you got to enjoy this day while it's here and worry about tomorrow, you know, and God tells us to do the same. He doesn't say, he says to leave your troubles in the past. Like, we don't need to carry yesterday's grief into today because today's a brand new day. He blessed us with a new 24, and it's just something that I'm still trying to work on. I don't think I'll ever perfect it, but if I'm getting closer to it, that's all I can really ask for.
Yeah, I just try to always express gratitude to God for what he's given me, and even to my family members also, just being more, you know, grateful for what they do for me and how they've been so helpful and monumental in my life, you know, because like you said, it's so easy to complain and, you know, just be so down sometimes. Yeah. It's easy to feel like that, but to be able to reflect on the blessings that you do have and where you're at in life, it's really incredible when you put that into perspective. And I feel like you feel more empowered as an individual to continue with what you're doing because you know that what you're doing is potentially making an impact in somebody else's life.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like you never know whose life you're touching or whose life you're impacting. It's weird, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like I'm touching other people's lives that I have like no idea, you know. One time my grandfather told me that I inspire him. Like, no way.
Aww.
Like, no. Like, there's no way I inspire you. But, you know, it shows me that, you know, we all have a certain type of light about ourselves and we're all touching people. So that should just continue to do that, and that should empower us to continue to, you know, be like that.
Sure.
When you got your bachelor's last spring, how rewarding was that? You know, a culmination of all your hard work in school. What was that moment like for you?
It was exciting. I don't know. I feel like things don't really hit me in the moment until like months later. Like when I applied for a job, I was like, wow, I'm actually a nurse. But it was actually the most exciting when I actually passed my NCLEX, and that's my certification exam. So that was definitely more rewarding than like getting my degree, because like the degree says I like have what it takes to be a nurse, but then like the NCLEX says like you're actually a nurse. So that was more exciting than getting my degree, especially like with COVID. It was just kind of weird. Like there wasn't as many people I could be like to watch you graduate or whatever, but it was still exciting to know that like my 4 years of hard work and stressfulness of nursing school was over. My mom always jokes with me. She says, I just love to go to school. So I'm getting my master's right now in business administration. She's like, you're probably going to stay another 2 years to get your nurse practitioner degree. I'm like, nah, I probably won't. But I could see myself doing that. So I want to, probably not. But like I deep down inside, I do want to. But I want to break from school so bad. But it was exciting. It was a good moment just to know that all my hard work paid off. You know, a lot of people told me I wasn't going to be able to do it with nursing and be a track student athlete. And it was just like, haha, like I did it. I always do what I set my mind to. So that was also exciting to know that I had some doubters, but I always come out on top. So that was good.
Right. That's all that matters in the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What made you choose business as your master's?
You know, this is going to sound so crazy, but I don't want to work for anybody for the rest of my life. Like right now, I know I got to get my feet wet. I'm going to have to work a corporate job for some years, but someday I'm going to want to have my own business. I don't know what it's going to be. I have some friends that are in med school right now, so I'm sure we could partner up and do some type of outpatient thing probably. But I don't know. I definitely want to open like a gym or something back at home in Maryland, just because, you know, people know my name and I feel like they see what I've accomplished. They're like, yeah, I'll go to her gym. That's my thought, at least. I definitely want to open like a gym or something. Because my brother, he's been talking about it for a while, so we could kind of collab on that. And then I don't know. I bake too. I used to bake to sell for like a year and a half, but I don't really have time to sell anymore. But I could see myself opening a little bakery, maybe somewhere small. I'm really not sure. Maybe hospital administration. I have a lot of ideas, but right now I'm just worried about finishing the degree and like making money with nursing so I can save up to like buy a house or something. But I know it's going to come. It'll click one day. And I have a lot of people that I still need to talk to. Like one of my teammates, her mom was a nurse practitioner, and she came home with me because we dropped her off at Ronald Reagan on the way home for Christmas break. And her mom was like, I have so many things that you could probably do that you have no clue that even exist. And I was like, yeah, I need to talk to you because I really don't know what I would do with my life. But I have a lot of ideas, but right now life is going well, working part-time. And I know we're at the hospital I'm at right now. If I stay here, I can definitely go to full-time whenever, because we're so understaffed. Like, it's crazy, and that's everywhere. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. I'm kind of the same way, you know. When I'm done with teaching, I definitely kind of want to do something on my own. Not that I have a problem with working with anybody. Like, I don't mind doing any type of work for anybody, but I kind of like doing my own thing. Like, I like being independent. I don't like feeling like I'm being micromanaged or I'm feeling watched. Like, when I'm in my element and I'm doing my thing, like, that's what I like to do. So in the future, if I can do like a podcast, have like a radio station, let's say, where I make money off of that, then I'll be straight. Like, I'd love to do something like that. Yeah, but this was a great conversation. I've loved getting the chance to speak with you and talk with you. I got like one last question before I go ahead and let you go. But, you know, once again, thank you so much for your time and taking the time out to speak with me once again.
You're welcome. I appreciate it. It's so fun. It's just like, it's so grounding just to have conversations like these, just to remember like you are human and like people hear you and they feel what you're going through, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love doing it too, because it gives me, you know, validation that, you know, sometimes I'm not alone in feeling the way I feel, and that can be a bad thing and that can be a good thing, you know, whether it's the struggles of mental health or knowing that, you know, I'm in the same, you know, I'm running the same race as everybody else, just trying to find their purpose and figure out what they want out of life.
Right.
Yeah. When you think of your life, what you want to achieve, what you have achieved in the past, what do you want your legacy to be?
I definitely want my legacy to be, I want people to remember how I made them feel. Not necessarily what I accomplished, you know, what's behind my name. Like, yes, I'm a nurse. Yes, I'll have my master's in business administration, maybe a nurse practitioner one day. But I just want people to remember how I made them feel. Like, did I make them warm? Did I make them happy? Did I put a smile on their face? Because at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I just want to leave someone a little brighter than they were when they first saw me. And if I can do that, then I'll be happy with my life. I'll be content. If people know that I just made them feel good and I was just a positive force in their life, even if it was just a smile to a stranger, because I always smile at strangers. Even if they look mean, I smile at them. If they smile back, that's cool. And if they don't, I'm just like, they probably needed that today. But definitely something that I want to be remembered by. And I feel like that's why I'm a nurse. Like, that's one of my favorite things is just talking to my patients. Like, I work night shift. The other day I was in a patient's room for like 45 minutes from like 3:30 to 4:15 in the morning. I don't remember what we were talking about. He was just telling me his life story, and that's what a lot of nurses, not that sometimes we don't have the time, but like when you do have that time, patients appreciate that, especially like on the COVID unit, they can't have family members to come visit them. So you're the only family that they can get for it depends on their stay, but normally about 7 days. So if that same nurse is in there, like letting them know that they're heard, just doing a little bit to show that you actually care than like the average nurse or like the doctors even. It goes a long way. And I think that's one of my best qualities as a nurse. And a lot of my patients will tell me that I'm a very great nurse, and they have no clue that I'm a brand new nurse. They know I'm young, and they always ask me if I have kids. And then I tell them I just graduated in May. They're like, really? You're great. And I'm like, I ask my mom all the time, like, am I really a great nurse, or am I just like a people person? She's like, I think it's a little bit of both. So that's always something it makes me happy. That's something I look forward to when I go into work.
Right. That's the same way I want to go out, as a teacher and just as an individual in general. Just, how did I impact people? How did I make them feel throughout our interactions? That's just something that I want to be able to leave this earth knowing that I made people feel good and I made them feel, positive about themselves.
Sure.
It's so important to just be kind, just be kind and be generous, because there's so much negativity going on in the world, and I don't want to go out of this world being bitter or just angry all the time. You want to have some type of encouragement. Like I always say at the end of each podcast, be blessed and be encouraged. We need that the most, especially with this pandemic, these new variants out here. We all need some type of positive energy going out here. So if I can transmute that positive energy onto somebody else and make them feel good and have them always remember that when my name comes up, then I'll be content.
I agree. I love that too. That's beautiful right there.
Yeah. Well, Harleigh, I had a great time catching up with you again. I loved getting the chance to speak with you, learn different things about you, try to implement those strategies with my life also. And once again, just thank you for your time.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
See you later.
Yeah. All right, this was the CedTalks Podcast. Thank you very, very much for listening to me. Stay blessed and stay encouraged.